What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we have some sort of gameplay style that is honestly uncounterable. I'm not saying it's overpowered or broken, but sometimes this type of build is unbeatable outside of skill reasons, so let's check it out. In the past, I talked about how to obscure or hide your animations by stacking abilities, equipment, shade wisp, even your own race to make your character as dark as possible, so you can blend in with the shadows. That, in its own right, is very hard to fight against, and seriously, with the new Twisted Puppets Blackfire path, yeah, you can become that much darker and hard to fight against because people can't see you. It's definitely great, but I'm not here to talk about that. Sure, your character and animations aren't really visible with the darkness type build, they can't see what you're doing, but what happens when they straight up can't see anything? On the totally opposite side of the spectrum, today we channel Deepwoken's true light magic to create the brightest possible build that's so hard to deal with regardless if you win or lose. Keep in mind, everything from this point on is going to be intentionally bright on purpose, so just a heads up. With the release of Spectre Path's White Gale, we want to optimize the amount of bright white light on our screen, and it's very easy to do so. Of course, with this path, all of your Gale mantras will be replaced with a glowing colorless light, and that's perfect for messing players up. Gale Wisp and the Curve Bladed Winds are additional tools that add to our light emission and make it just a bit harder to see, so that's perfect. Even Phantom Step, the mode from this path, makes your green colors white, leaving a trail behind and generating even more particles. Upon this, the obvious oath option for blinding lights has got to be Dawnwalkers, so with every single one of our mantras, we cover the screen with even more white particles that obscure our character as we apply pressure. Blinding Dawn does basically exactly what you'd expect, nothing much, but blinding your target. Radiant Dawn is great for movement and is generally unpunishable, and it's kinda scary to see a glowing ball of light just flying towards the air at you. After we're hit by another element, Protagonist Syndrome covers our character in a white, or depending on your settings, very colorful Super Saiyan cloak that is actually insane and super blinding. Seriously, on the offense or defense, Dawnwalker is always the best pick for this type of build. Our weapon of choice can either be the White Gale Hero Blade, the Curve Bladed Winds, or anything with the Providence Thorns enchant. Whatever option you pick should emit some sort of neon glow, but that's another bonus to stack right on top of our insane look. Moving on, our equipment of choice should be as bright as possible, allowing us to reflect that light off a pure white surface, multiplying the blinding capability of our character. Anything with an enchant or innate white color works the best for these sort of builds, but I ended up using a Pale Assassin's Cloak with Multiplicity enchant to maximize my glowing light. Feel free to be creative because anything that mixes up enemies will work perfectly. The final part of this blinding build is going to be based off your character, and usually races with light hair or pale skin will work the best, but even if you don't have those options, you can always try this instead. Using the Hollowtide Mushroom costume as your attribute, you can smelt any hat on top as the appearance and simply hide the hat. By doing this, you will gain the Scroom skin color or just base white. It's purely colorless, but this works with anything, making your race, colorless. Try this out and see what happens. I think the best I could possibly do in game was with this Ganymede drip right here that has so many lights, white particles, and is just confusing to look at, so players might freak out, and this has zero counterplay. That's all for right now, but with the release of White Gale, I knew it was time to talk about this. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's hit 70k by the end of this year. As always, thanks again, it's punchin' time.